The yarn I'm using is 716X Knit. It's hand-dyed yarn from Buffalo, New York. And the color is Try On My World. Here's the tag. It's 80% merino, 20% nylon. And I loved it. And so, I actually had a sock made and was pulled out the waist yarn as the pattern calls for, starting to put in the heel, and I was having these gaps. And on the pattern it says to go under a particular YouTube site and watch, which I did. Still had the problem. I could have kept going and then tried to kind of sew it in later. I'm not the best at doing that, sewing in little things. I want it to be right. So I pulled the whole thing out because, of course, I didn't have a lifeline in, which I will do this time because I don't want to have to pull the whole thing out. But, you know, I just pulled the whole thing out and I thought, okay, I'm going to come back. Now, lessons I've learned from this are, for me, I want to make a contrasting heel. It helps me, until I get better at this, it helps me to see exactly what I'm doing with the actual sock compared to the tube part of the sock. So that is one thing I want to do. It will help me identify better. The other thing is I will not pull. I always use my yarn from the outside. When I tried to add the heel, I was pulling from the center. So I had two on the same skein, the cake, going at the same time. They kept crossing. They kept getting tangled. Way too difficult for somebody that is learning how to do this. So those are the two things I learned from it that I will not do. So this time I am going to use this for my heel. Let's see, let me pull this out. This is Hedgehog Fibers, called Sorry Not Sorry, and love the color. And I think they'll look really cute together. Some pinks in there, so for fun, and it will definitely stand out. So I'm looking forward to using this for the actual heel. Here's the tag. It was a little mini skinny singles is what they called it, 20 grams. So I'm going to use those. And so let me pull this out. I actually am in the middle of a row, so I should have finished that before starting this today. Sorry about that. Okay, well, this is how it would look for me if I was working on it. So we'll show you this part. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if I'm too close. I don't want to fuzz it out. I'll pull it back some. It's going to be really nice. And when I started this the last time, I noticed it was kind of like a self-striping. So there'll be a lot of the tan beigey color, and then all of a sudden you'll get these pops of colors and a few stripes, and then it goes again, which I really, really like because that's just pretty cool. I've never had a self-striping kind of yarn before, and so when that started to do that, I was really interested in seeing how it would turn out. So wish me luck. I'm going to start this again. I will show you progress as I go on this, and really hope that I can figure this heel area. I know with the SOS it's like an afterthought heel, so I believe there's no gusset really involved. I believe this should be easier to do. I just have to figure out how to pick them up better without having the big gaps. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing with those. Okay, so now I want to talk about crochet. Last week I had showed you some items that I was making for a girlfriend. She giving me some of her mother's yarn, which I believe she probably purchased back in 1970s or 80s. She's had this yarn for a while, and so let me pull that out here. So here's the yarn, and I had finished a project for her husband, a lap blanket. He's in a wheelchair, and I had showed that last time. Showed this as well last time, but I just kind of wanted to go show you where I was, which was here. So I've only added 2 rows, almost 3 rows actually, because here I am getting ready to come to meet. So as it gets bigger, it gets harder and longer. You can't go as quick, but I think she'll enjoy it. I think she'll enjoy the fact of having this because it was her mother's yarn. She didn't want the skein just sitting there. She wanted it something made into it, and with it, and she loves the granny square, so that's what I decided to do for her. I also talked about wanting to do charity projects again, and I originally started out crocheting, learned to knit about 1.5 years ago. So crocheting for me, I can do faster, I can make projects quicker, get them out faster, and I think they're just as beautiful. And so I decided to do a project that I had done before in the past, but it holds a little a spot in my heart right now, and it's for Meals on Wheels. We had before, as a group, I had a group, and we made placemats to go out to the clients, patients, residents in the community that was receiving these Meals on Wheels, and the placemats were for them to have a nice place to put their meal and to know that they're being thought of and loved and prayed over. So I thought, okay, I have 2 ailing parents right now, and they have been a part of that Meals on Wheels. It helps them. It's a very important organization. It helps people that can't cook for themselves as much. It helps them to get the nutrition they need each day. And so I wanted to go back to that. So I pulled out this yarn I had. It was yarn that I'd used for a baby blanket, and I have quite a bit of this. I want to go ahead and use up my acrylics and different things that I have for these type of projects, rather than it just sitting here not doing anything with it. I want to go ahead and make these nice items and give them out to some people. So this is the Caron Simply Soft Paints. It is 100% acrylic, and it's called Peacock Feather. So that's this yarn here, and I am crocheting with a hook size J here, and this is what I've just gotten. I haven't gotten very far. I just actually started it this morning. Chained about 50, and what I'm doing is just single, double, triple, single, double, triple, all the way down, and then over top the singles I'm doing a triple. On the doubles I'm doing doubles, and then on the triples I'm doing a single. So that keeps this not from going like that. It allows it to stay straight across the top as you're going. So if you think about it, you have a single, then a triple, that's 4. Then a double and a double, that's 4. And then a triple and a single, that's 4. So you're continually having the same amount over top one another, and it allows you to have that straight line on the top. It gives it a little bit of texture with the triple. It bulges it out a little bit, so you get a little bit of fun. It's very pretty. It's a little busy because of the variegation of the yarn, but I think it's very pretty with solids or with anything. So that's what I'm doing. I think I might make a complimentary little coaster to go with each pattern that I make. So not only will they have a nice placemat, but then they can also have a coaster that they can use anytime to go with it. So I think that'll be kind of fun. So that's what I'm working on. I'm using a little stitch marker to hold my spot. A little fish. And so that's what I'm doing. I'll do this for a while, and then who knows what the next projects will be after that. So that's those. And wanted to talk about, and I actually wanted to talk about this last week, but I was having a lot of difficulties with recording and the time that I was having. So I felt very rushed for row 1, and I had to do it in 2 parts. And so I never got around to showing you my bags that I've sewed. I'm not a very good sewer. I'm brand new at sewing, but I'm learning. I've gone on to different YouTube channels to learn and take pieces from those and kind of put it in together to make things for myself. Everything that I've made is drawstring, and most of them are not lined. Actually, I think only one. My last one I made has a lining on the inside, so I'm just starting to kind of learn that. And so I'll show you what I've made. This was the very first one I made. One thing I would suggest when you get started with these is definitely iron your material before making your projects, because once you're done sewing it, you want to be pretty much completely done. And this doesn't look very nice with all the lines and stuff in it, but it's mine. I don't really care so much, so I'm not going to worry about it. But this is, I bought this material for fun, just to play, and so that's what I did. And here's the drawstring. Now, I don't like this ribbon that I've used. I don't like how it just flops and lays. It's extremely long. It just doesn't seem meaty enough to me. I don't like the looseness of it. So I will probably never use ribbon or this sort of ribbon again. But when you open it, you can't go much shorter because of how long this bag is. You can't really take any of the ribbon off. So that's partly why when it's closed, it's so long. But it's nice, and you can put smaller projects in it or a shawl project in it and use that up. So that was the first one. Then I have these where I was trying to do the same thing, but I cut this incorrectly. So I ended up figuring out how to kind of sew it onto the polka dotted, and I made 2 smaller bags, and this one has 2 drawstrings, side pulls, and then this one is just the one, just pull on the one side. So I actually really like these. The thread is 2 different colors. That's something I want to work on, is coordinating the thread better, paying attention to that. Again, I was just trying to learn the structure of the bag and trying to figure out how to make them, and then to make them, you know, better than, you know, you can continue to practice that and work on the little things about the bag. It's just figuring out the bag to begin with. So that's what I did with these. This actually is holding 2 skeins of sock yarn, a pattern, my little notions tin that I talked about on my last podcast, and it's a very nice, I'll be able to fit everything in and go. So this is a nice size for a sock bag, and I think they're really cute. And they're not lined, but that's okay. And then here's like a little bag I had made. This is kind of like you can use for notions. You can put scissors and different things in it. I had this material extra from I made a larger bag for a coworker, and who's learning to crochet, and she's starting out, and I wanted to fill it with some fun things for her. So I wanted her to have her own bag too. So that's this bag. I like this. It's pretty cool. And I'm using these corded kind of for the drawstrings. I like this so much better. It just seems more sturdy, meatier, and I think it will hold up better. I just like that a lot better. And then this one I made. This is my holiday bag, larger bag. Christmas trees. Again, I did not iron it. I feel I should probably have sewed another piece up here, because what's happening is the cord is just flopping through all this material. There's too much space. It doesn't give it as nice of a little fringe at the top when it's pulled together. So I want to work on that next time with giving it a area to stay in, so it's not kind of loosely all over the place. But this is a good sized bag. It would be nice to have little projects in that I'm working on at Christmas time, or a bigger project that I might want to work on. So I like that, and I am going to make more holiday kind of bags. So that's fun. I actually have some material with hearts on it for Valentine's Day, so I'm looking forward to making that one. Recently I did make this bag. This is holding my SOS socks. It's again a one side, and it is not lined. It has dashed and hound dogs on it, but I like the size of it. I like the length. It's not too big. You can pull it together. You can stand the pattern up. It might curl a little bit, but that's okay. You don't have to fold your pattern. And I think this is fun. I like the dash and hounds and stuff on it. So that's cute. I like that one as well. But here are the two that I've made most recent. I'll show that one last. This one is holding my Linus shawl. Has the Mickey Mouse pattern, but on the inside it is lined. So this is the only one I have lined so far. I didn't want to make it so wide and short. I wanted it to be deeper, but I'm working on understanding length and the actual sizes. Right now I'm just throwing it together, trying to learn the technique, but when you want to know the size of the actual bag and have it come out a certain way, that I'm going to work on understanding measurements better. But I do like this. I think it's cute. You can just kind of sit it down and work right out of it. It's nice. I like it. And then pull that together, and it's like a little pouchy thing. So that's really cool. So I was going to do another one with this material. And I have to apologize. I have 2 cats, and I tend to get cat hair on